Having overcome an eating disorder, plus-size blogger Stephanie Yeboah has written what she describes as a love letter to black fat women. Her words, her new book is called Fattily Ever After, a black fat girl's guide to living life unapologetically. And she joins me now, and it's okay for me to say fat to you. You're not going to take offence. I feel weird saying it, to be honest with you.
No, it's completely fine. It's completely fine.
It's okay. And you embrace the word fat. And what do you want people to take from this book, Stephanie? What do you want them to discover and to learn and maybe to change their attitudes a bit?
Well, basically, the reason that I wrote the book is because what we've seen over the last 5 years is we've seen a huge boost in body positivity, self-love, self-appreciation, and differentiating body types and acceptance. But one thing that we have noticed is that the body positivity movement now almost has its own standard of beauty. Not a lot of people know that the movement was created in part by plus-size black women. And so as the movement has begun to get a lot more popular, it has shifted focus away from the bodies that really needed that movement as a safe space, and has given its visibility to bodies that do have a bit more privilege. So often white bodies, white women, and smaller or chubby at best women. And so I wanted to write this book as a way for plus size black women to kind of have their stories heard and their stories and perspectives told.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because I've been lucky enough to spend quite a lot of time in Africa, and women in Africa are by and large the most beautiful, confident, body confident women. They're so comfortable in their skin, Stephanie. They really are, you know, and they have this thing about traditionally built, and they embrace it the way that you're embracing it. They embrace the fact that they are bigger women, and it's a joy to see that. It really is. What's happened here that's different?
I think it's a case of just having this westernized standard of beauty.
Right.
I think over the last 50 years or so, we've seen, you know, the pinnacle of beauty is slim, thin, and often quite whitewashed, which is why you still have people who are of an ethnic background still doing things like bleaching their skin in order to be lighter, or going on, you know, some diets to kind of lose as much weight as possible, because to be thin and to be slim is seen as, you know, the greatest standard of beauty that everybody needs to kind of achieve to. And so what I do and what others in my field do, we just say, you know, if you do happen to be plus size, if you are fat, you don't have to hate yourself. You don't have to, you know, feel insignificant. You are beautiful too.
And it's also about visibility, isn't it? I mean, you know, our Candice, who does our fashion, she is a bigger girl. She looks absolutely fantastic. There she is. I mean, I've never met a more confident, more comfortable person in her own skin, as I said. Honey Ross, for example, she's come out, she's said, look, it's okay. And the more we see women like yourself, you know, women who, because most women in the UK are not teeny tiny, and we all feel that pressure. We all do, Stephanie. And they're not, and they shouldn't be made to feel that there's something wrong with them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the current standard size in the UK is a size 16, I believe.
That's right.
But it's this case of just trying to have that normality and see bigger bodies as being normalized, because the more that we can see bigger bodies being normalized, I think the less insecure women would feel. And I think it's just a case of also having this visibility on places like TV, in books, in the movies, and also changing how we frame bigger bodies as well. Because I think one of the big issues that people have with fat people is that they see us as all the same. So they see us as lazy, fat, unhealthy, unlucky in love, dirty, you know, all of these really horrible tropes that Hollywood and TV have perpetuated of fat people. But fat people can be successful in love. We can be healthy. We can work out. We can have successful love lives. You know, we can be normal like everybody else. And I think because that's not normalized, because we still live in this area of portraying bigger people to be a specific trope, we're all tarred with the same brush. So with this book and with the body positive movement, we are just trying to say, look, we are we can be stylish, we can be, successful. We are beautiful too, because I think we still live in this hierarchy of aesthetics and being attractive, and being seen as bigger has always been at the bottom rung. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to break the status quo and have a level playing field, and I just want people to feel confident and happy in their skin.
No, absolutely. And as long as you're healthy, it's absolutely fine. Of course it is. And, you're right. There is a terrible pressure on all of us to look a certain way. It doesn't matter, what your background is or what colour you are. You still feel that pressure. I mean, you yourself went through an eating disorder, sadly, which is a horrible thing to have to go through. And you wrote yourself a letter. It was almost like you were, if you like, apologising to yourself.
Absolutely. So yeah, in my early 20s, I went on every single diet going. I wanted to lose as much weight as possible because I wanted to wear a bikini on the beach. And so I undertook very dangerous eating habits. But because I'm fat, people didn't see it as an eating disorder. They just saw it as me doing what was good for my body. But internally, it was just a mess. It was a mess. And so it got to the point where I was very, very ill, and I decided to write a letter to my body. I saw my body as its own separate entity, and I wrote a letter to it, just apologizing for all of the negative self-talk and the self-harm and all of the horrible things that I had done to it in order to appease what people thought of me. And I just thought it was time to apologize to my body instead of apologizing for my body to other people. And it was one of the most sort of radical, amazing things I've ever done.
And do you ever get, Stephanie, do you get people, because, you aren't, like I said, you're using the word fat, which everybody's kind of like, everybody's a bit sort of like on eggshells about, and you're not really supposed to say that. But the reaction for you, have people actually said it's quite refreshing?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it took me a while, I won't lie. It took me a while to kind of get to that point where I could use it comfortably. But I think, again, we have been so brainwashed to associate fatness with ugliness. So whenever somebody calls somebody fat, you automatically think ugly, unattractive, grotesque. But what we have to remember is that fat is just a descriptive word, like saying slim, tall, black, white. It's a description of a body type. It doesn't mean that I'm ugly. It doesn't mean that I'm unattractive. It just means that I'm fat. That is just my body type.
And you've just reclaimed it and just said you own it now. That's it.
Yeah,
and that's a bit. You know what? I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're absolutely right. We shouldn't sort of be, offended by that, because it's just like you said. It's just a description. The book is out now, Fattily Ever After. It's been a joy to talk to you, my love. Thank you so much. And you look cracking in a bikini. I love that picture by the beach.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to see you. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub, and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.